Good morning and welcome. I am Shweta Nandakumar Burade, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, KTHM College. Today we are going to start with your first theory paper of MSc Part 2nd, Semester 3rd, which is Computational Botany. This is your core compulsory subject. Subject code is BOUT231. In this lecture, we are going to have brief introduction to syllabus of 3rd and 4th credit of this subject. Let us first discuss what is computational botany. Computational botany involves application of computer science, mathematics and statistics to solve botany based problem. In broad term, we can say biology or life science based problems. It also entails use of computational methods for interpretation of biological data. In short, we can say computational botany bridges biological science to quantitative science, that is mathematics, statistics, computer science, etc. Again, computational botany have strong supportive role in research. Title of 3rd credit is Scientific Communication. We already know what communication is. Communication is process of exchanging verbal, non-verbal message, ideas, etc. But what is scientific communication? Scientific communication is practice of informing, educating, sharing information and raising awareness of science related topics. Actually, it is to accurately and clearly communicate or exchange new scientific knowledge, new research to public, or we can say non-science people. It is also a process of distilling technical information about science related topics into understandable message for public consumption. So, to simplify technical information and provide it to non-science people. Chapter first includes importance of scientific communication. If scientific community or scientists properly and effectively communicate with non-science people or with each other, it will help to support science. Also, it helps them to take important decisions of daily life such as medical care, food, safety, etc. Next topic is types of scientific communication, which are oral, written, visual. Next is logical organization of scientific data and documentation. When we say scientific or scientific communication, the information provided or idea exchange should be accurate and properly organized and documented. Chapter 2nd is different modes of scientific communication. So there are different modes of scientific communication, which are proposal writing, research paper writing, poster presentation, thesis, etc. So first we are going to study steps involved in proposal writing. So what are research proposal? Actually, research proposal are request for sponsorship. Oral forms of scientific communication. So you already know this new channel called Discovery and Nat Geo. This new channel organizes few scientific talks, which is a type of very good type of scientific communication. Also, poster presentation in different competition is type of scientific communication, or we can say mode of scientific communication. Next point is legal forms of communication of science. In this point, we are going to study ethics and principle in scientific communication. Also, intellectual property rights, copyrights, and patent submission. If somebody submits patent of its new knowledge or new discovery, it is also a type of scientific communication. Next credit is credit fourth, which is bioanalytical techniques and bioinformatics. So what are bioanalytical techniques? Bioanalytical techniques or methods, it is actually a part of analytical chemistry which includes biology. Bioanalytical techniques specifically determines concentration of metabolite or biological matrix such as plasma, serum, urine. So bioanalytical techniques estimate or measures amount of particular molecule in solution. So but when we say bioanalytical technique, it must be biomolecule. Next part of this credit is bioinformatics. Bioinformatics is collection, classification, storage and analysis of biological information using computer, or we can say the application of computer tool to organize, analyze, understand and visualize store information associated with biological molecules. So for example, DNA sequences and protein sequences. There is vast number of different DNA sequences of all organism which we have found till today. So all this information about discovered DNA and protein is stored using computer tools because it is impossible to keep the record manually. So bioinformatics helps us to organize and analyze this information. So first part of this credit is bioanalytical technique, in which we are going to learn how to make solutions. Okay, making solution. So first part is moles and molarity. So actually this bioanalytical technique part is most easy because you have been doing this since your first year BSc. You know what mole and molarity is. Next is stock solutions and dilution. How to make stock solution, how to make serial dilutions, or we can say dilutions. Next is making media and reaction mixture. So in this particular topic, we are going to learn how to make nutrient media. So we make different types of nutrient media actually, like nutrient agar, but in botany we have two important media, potato dextrose agar and Murashid's scoop medium, which is very important in plant tissue culture. We are also going to learn how to make the reaction mixtures for different bioanalytical experiments, which includes spectrophotometry and chromatography. Next point of this credit is pH measurements and preparation of buffer. So how to measure pH? So we can use simple pH paper, portable pH meter, or the pH meter which is having electrode. Okay. Also we are going to learn how to prepare buffers. What are buffers? Buffers resist change in pH. So when we perform bioanalytical techniques, we need to have constant pH So for that, we add buffers to our solutions so that pH remains stable and constant. So we are going to learn how to prepare buffer. Next point is measuring concentration using spectrophotometry. You have already learned this in your first semester. You have estimated amount of chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B using spectrophotometry. And you know principle of spectrophotometry is Beers and Lambert's law. Yes. Next is cell counting using hemocytometer. So we can measure amount of RBCs and WBCs using hemocytometer. Next is what is bioinformatics. So actually this subject consists of three core areas. First is molecular biology database. Second is sequence comparison and sequence analysis to compare two different sequences and to analyze the sequence. Third is the emerging technology of microarrays. So in short we can say bioinformatics is management and analysis of biological information stored in databases. So then what is database? Database is actually repository of sequence, maybe DNA or amino acids, which provide centralized and homogeneous view of its content. Next we are going to study classification of databases. So broadly, databases are classified into two categories. First is sequence database that involves both proteins and nucleic acid, and structural database that involves only protein databases. Additionally, it is also classified into three categories: primary database, secondary database, and composite database. Next we are going to study sequences and nomenclature. So for nomenclature we use IUPAC symbols or IUPAC system, which is International Union of Pure Applied Chemistry. IUPAC has made certain recommendations. Bioinformatics nomenclature is based on this system or this recommendations. Next is types of sequences used in bioinformatics. So to analyze, we use different types of sequences. For example, genomic DNA, cDNA, organellar DNA, that is chloroplast and mitochondrial DNA, ESTs, gene sequencing tags, that is GST, and other biomolecules, for example 16X rRNA. Next we are going to study what are information sources. So information sources are actually repositories. For example, NCBI. The NCBI is National Center of Biotechnology Information. National Center of Biotechnological Information. Another information source is Genome Database. Actually, GDB is official repository for genome mapping or any data which is related to gene, and it is created by Human Genome Project. Next is MGD, Mouse Genome Database. So what are information sources? These information sources are actually well-developed data repositories which have genome and protein resources of human and other organisms. Next chapter is data retrieval tool. So our gene bank contains over 7 million sequences record covering 9 million nucleotide bases. So this is huge amount, right? So unless these databases are easily searched and entries are easily retrieved in useful or meaningful format, it is not at all useful. So we should have data retrieval tools. So first is entries. This is integrated information database for both DNA and protein. This retrieval system is provided by NCBI. Using this system, we can access genome map, 3D structure, etc. It has ability to retrieve related sequence structure. Next is OMIM, Online Mendelian Inheritance in Man. So OMIM is non-sequence based information resource. It is very useful in genomics. It contains thousands of entries of human genes and genetic disorder. It stores information about genetic disorder, which is very useful. Next is PubMed. So PubMed, publisher on medicine. It is a web search interface which provides over 11 million journal citations. Next is taxonomy browsers. They provide information about character similarity between two organisms to search if there is any similarity between their gene sequences. Next is LocusLink. It provides information regarding given genetic locus such as phenotypes, map location, homologies, etc. Next and very important is SRS, Sequence Retrieval System. It has been created by Swiss Institute of Bioinformatics and European Bioinformatics Institution. It gives retrieval from about 75 public biological databases, and this is also a search tool. Next is database similarity searching, which is BLAST. So BLAST is basic local alignment search tool. NCBI developed this search tool which identifies genes and genetic features. It executes sequence searches against the entire DNA database in less than 15 to 20 seconds. Next tool is FASTA. It is a text-based format for representing either nucleotide sequence or amino acid sequences. Next is resources for gene level sequences. There are few resources from where we can get gene level sequences. For example, Unigene, Homologene and reference sequence, that is RefSeq. And homologene is for homologous gene. Last point of this fourth credit is use of bioinformatic tools in analysis. So why we use this bioinformatic tools or how they are useful in biology. So very first is to process raw information. So the biological information which is hidden in DNA or RNA or protein, we can generate it experimentally. This is what we call raw information. Second is using bioinformatic tool, we can carry out the gene prediction. Okay, we can predict the gene if it is intron or exon or promoter, etc. Third is, by using computer programs, protein sequences can be analyzed or deducted from the predicted genes. So we can analyze or deduct the protein sequence by studying the gene. Next is, by using computer programs or these bioinformatic tools, we can identify the regulatory sequences. Next and very important is phylogenetic relationship. So by using this bioinformatic tools, we can analyze the phylogenetic relationship between two different organisms, whether they are related to each other, if they are having any common ancestor. We can have answer to this question by using bioinformatic tools. Next is reconstruction of metabolic pathways. By studying different enzymes and gene which codes for that enzyme, we can reconstruct or recreate the metabolic pathways, which is very useful. Next and last is prediction of function of unknown gene. This is very much important. We can predict the function of unknown gene using bioinformatic tools. So this is how bioinformatics is important while we study biology. I know, being biology student or botany student, or we can say life science student, it is little bit difficult to study statistics, mathematics and computer science. But don't worry, we are going to make it fun together. If you have any queries, you can contact me on our Google Classroom. You also have my mail ID and phone number. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.